On the line now, Grace Post lawyer, Attorney George Garcia. Attorney George, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Ma'am Mai, and good afternoon to all the viewers.
Attorney, so this really is looking to be like an uphill battle for Senator Grace Poe. In earlier interviews, the senator said she wasn't really expecting a favorable ruling from the First Division. So what's next for the senator now?
We will be filing a motion for reconsideration because of this 2-1 decision of the Comelec. But this is a welcome development. This is a welcome news. Although, according to Senator Grace Poe, she's expecting that she will not be receiving any favorable decision. But this is a very welcome news because the voting is not unanimous, meaning somebody voted in our favor, for somebody is actually saying that we were correct in all our evidence and in all our contention.
Mm-hmm. But are you really expecting much from the en banc? This still goes to the Comelec en banc, am I correct?
But yes, this case will definitely go to the en banc. Definitely, we have all the trust and confidence as far as is concerned. We hopefully the en banc may be able to decide the case in our favor. We don't know. Miracles do happen, and maybe because of the strength of our arguments, maybe the members of the en banc may decide otherwise and may decide in our favor. We don't know. Somebody dissented. Somebody pointed out the mistake of the petitioners, and somebody is now saying Senator Grace Poe is a natural-born Filipino citizen and a resident of the Philippines for at least 10 years.
Mm-hmm. How is this really different from the petition filed before the Second Division of the Comelec that the cancellation of her COC in the Second Division ruled on the grounds... Okay, we just lost Attorney George Garcia. We'll try to get him back on the line. Now, we'll try to get JC Gutinga on the line now at the Comelec. JC. Okay, let's go to the Comelec later on. After Iloilo, Senators Grace Poe and Francis Escudero are in Tarlac today for consultations with local officials and residents. David Santos is on their trail with an update. David, go ahead. Okay, we'll try to get David back on the line in a bit. CNN Philippines held its first town hall meeting Thursday with administration vets Mar Rojas and Leni Robredo at the Far Eastern University. Rojas and Robredo promised to push for the Freedom of Information Bill if it fails to pass under the Aquino administration. When asked about income tax reform, Rojas said the issue is not about lowering tax rates, but reviewing the coverage of the tax system. Both also said they're ready to return to the private sector if they lose.
Go back to private life. Actually, nung kumandidato ako, talaga yung plano ko 3 years lang ako sa politika.
Ganun din, babalik din sa pribado, pero parati na may consciousness na kabahagi tayo. We are our brother's keeper, di ba?
Okay, let's try to go back to Attorney George Garcia, lawyer of Senator Grace Poe. Attorney, how is the senator now and what is her reaction to the Comelec's decision?
Well, immediately after the receipt of the decision, I contacted Senator Grace Poe, and she was surprised, but at the same time, she was hopeful. At least the decision is not 3-0, meaning not all the members of the Commission First Division is unanimous in saying that her candidacy should be cancelled. At least we are seeing a glimmer of hope, because this one lone dissent can later on become the majority, or when we go to the Supreme Court, this one lone dissent may become later on the basis of the Supreme Court in affirming the candidacy of Senator Grace.
Mm-hmm. But what is your reaction to opinions that the Comelec en banc would just affirm the decision of the Second Division and the First Division?
Yeah, that is true. In almost all instances, the motion for reconsideration is just affirming the decision of the division. But however, there are also instances whereby the en banc reverses the Comelec division if we are able to prove and show several proof or evidence to back up our motion for reconsideration, and likewise pointing out what are the errors of judgment committed by the division. And that is not impossible. Surely we will try to convince the en banc this time, that the same thing that we have done as far as the second division decision is concerned, we will try to convince the en banc, look, you have misinterpreted this one, you have overlooked this evidence, perhaps you can take a second look, and maybe you can decide in our favor.
So now this all goes to the Supreme Court eventually. What can you expect from the Supreme Court, considering 3 justices voted against Senator Poe in the Senate Electoral Tribunal?
Mostly the issue or issues in this case before the Comelec or cases before the Comelec are questions of law. So meaning to say these are cases of first impression, more specifically the issue of citizenship. And in almost all instances, the Supreme Court, if the issues are questions of law, will always issue a restraining order. In the event that Comelec en banc will affirm both of its division in their decision, then we will go to the Supreme Court. We are hoping and we are expecting that the TRO hopefully will be issued by the Supreme Court.
All right, thanks for joining us. Attorney George Garcia, lawyer of Senator Grace Poe.